just hiking back to the shop now, and I just picked up a bear skin. It's in a little bit of rough shape, but it's a cool bear skin. It's a black bear, has a little bit of cinnamon color to the fur, and I just picked it up from a buddy, and he salted it, but that's about it. So I'm gonna, for the next couple weeks, the plan is to take this skin and to clean it up and to tan it. Now this skin, this is gonna be the Jeremiah Johnson bear head hat, the hat I've always wanted to make. I'm gonna make it right out of this skin here, this bear skin on my back. All right, I've got to warn you though, if you're not into taxidermy or that kind of thing with animals, skip this video right now. Come back and watch when I'm stitching the hat together. That's going to be in a separate video, but this video is going to be all about the tanning process from start to finish with this bear skin. So let's head back to the shop and roll this skin out, take a look, and get started on the tanning process. All right, right on. Now boy, are you sure that you can skin grizz just as fast as you can find them? Woo! All right, there we go. I love getting out on a nice hike, and look what we got. We brought home a nice black bear. See that nice little cinnamon color here in the fur? And this is gonna be our Jeremiah Johnson bear head hat, or so we hope. Right now, when I was younger, I did a lot of brain tanning, where you actually use the brain to tan the hide. That's why I said, if you're not into taxidermy, skip this video, come back for the next video where I'm actually making the hat. But in this video, we're gonna do a different type of tanning, and that tanning includes using this Mckenzie brand of tanning products. Now, I learned about this, of course, from a YouTube channel called Amy's Taxidermy. Great channel, great tutorial. She does amazingly beautiful taxidermy work. She actually stopped making YouTube videos. I got too busy. She was getting too many emails, taking her away from the business, but I highly recommend you checking out her YouTube videos. All right, as far as the products and what we've got, one of the most important things is right here, a big bag of salt. You definitely want to salt your skin right after you flesh it out. Right here, I got 50 pounds American Stockman fine stock salt. I got this at Tractor Supply for a really good price. So when you first flesh out your skin, you want to take this salt, rub it all over the skin side of the hide. Then you want to fold it up, put it on like a screen, something where the water can escape from the bottom. What it's doing is drawing the water out of the skin. You want to do this for about 2 days. So the first day, salt it, let it drip overnight. Next day, salt it, let it drip overnight, drawing all that moisture out of the skin. And that's where we're gonna pick up here. This skin has already been salted. So now what we are gonna do is we're gonna shift over here to these Mckenzie products. So the first Mckenzie product that I got here, and I'll put a link in the description so you can order this stuff from Mckenzie. I got the Mckenzie Relaxer Degreaser. Now this skin is pretty dirty, and it's a bear hide too, so it has a lot of oily fat in it, and that's where the degreaser comes in, and the cleaner. We're gonna give this a nice bath. It's gonna break up that grease, get that fat out of the skin, and kind of make this nice and pliable. After we do that, then we're gonna go over here and go into a pickling bath. Yes, we're gonna put this whole bear into a pickling bath for several days. All right, now what goes in the pickle, what the main ingredient here is this Mckenzie Ultimate Acid. This is an acidic pickle that we're gonna be soaking this whole thing in, and it's gonna be sitting at a pH of about 1.5. So what we're gonna have in our pickle is the Ultimate Acid. We're gonna have a bunch of salt in the pickle, and we're also gonna have a little bit of this Mckenzie Relaxer Degreaser, because it is an oily old bear skin here. But what happens when you put the skin into the pickle, it actually breaks down the proteins in the skin, and it opens it up, and it makes it readily available to absorb some tanning agents. So we're at the end of this whole process here, we are gonna brush on this Mckenzie Tan. Now what this does is this is going to preserve the skin, turn it into a nice leather, workable leather that we can use for, hey, for making a Jeremiah Johnson bear head hat. I'm hoping we get a hat out of this thing. This skin underneath is actually a little bit nasty. You know, it could have been salted better. It's not in the best of shape. We're on a little bit of a rescue mission here, but I'm up for the challenge. We're gonna see what happens here. But we're gonna go step by step through the whole process here. I'm gonna show you all the amounts and all right, well, let's get to it. Let's get busy. We're gonna start with the Relaxer Degreaser bath. All right, let's go. All right, right on folks. I got 10 gallons of water here in this tote, and it is 1 pound of salt, of this fine salt, not rock salt, but real fine salt. 1 pound of salt to every 3 gallons of water. So I have here around 4 pounds of salt, just under 4 pounds of salt. So we're gonna put this into our water, and then we're gonna give this a mix. I got this paddle drill, and we're gonna incorporate this salt into our water. All right, and then for every gallon of water, we're gonna use 1 ounce of the Mckenzie Relaxer Degreaser. So I got that measured out here. Actually put a little bit extra because this bear hide is pretty dirty, and it's gonna take a lot, I think, to get this cleaned up. Again, I'm gonna mix this up here. All right, let's take a look at our bear skin, and I'm telling you, this thing does need some work, but I think, see, there's even a little bit of hair coming off of that ear, and if we look underneath here, see all the dirt and stuff that's on this, and look at the head here, that doesn't look that great. So hopefully this is all gonna soften up and degrease, and we're gonna be able to shave this thing down. Like I said, it's not in the greatest of shape, but we're crossing our fingers that we're gonna get something out of this. Back here on the back, it actually looks a lot better than up there by the head. And we're gonna have to deal with these ears. Hopefully, might be able to open those up inside. We'll see. All right, it's time for the old bear. Take a little bubble bath, going in head first. I want that head to be right down in all that degreaser. And we're just gonna fold him right into this solution. That's good. See, that seems like 10 gallons is just the right amount here. We'll actually pull him back up. Just make sure there's no air pockets. All right, while our bear is taking a little bath there in the Relaxer Degreaser, and that might take a few hours, it might take 10 hours. That thing's been drying a long time. It's crusty. I want it to loosen up. I want it to get into the ears of that head. I want to be able to work on that stuff. But while that is soaking, let's mix up our pickling solution. So I got 10 gallons of water in another tote over there. For every gallon of water, it gets 1 pound of this fine salt. And then it also gets, for every gallon, it gets a ½ ounce of the Mckenzie Ultimate Acid. So it gets 5 ounces of the Ultimate Acid. And I'm also gonna add some of this Mckenzie Relaxer Degreaser. I'm only gonna add about 4 ounces of this to that pickling solution. All right, got the 10 gallons of water, and I'm adding our 10 pounds of salt, and I'm gonna mix that with the drill. All right, we're gonna add our acid into the water, and now we're gonna add our degreaser here as well. And we're gonna stir up this bubble bath here. All right, now that we got that mixed up, we want to test the pH of our pickling solution. Now with this Mckenzie Ultimate Acid, they are saying that you want to be at a 1.5. So I got this pH paper that I got from Mckenzie. This is Hydrion, and we're gonna dunk this in, and we're gonna see where we're at. You see that turned nice and green already, and looks like we're right around a 1, in between 1 and 1.5. Now, when we put our bear skin in here, the pH is actually going to rise, and at some point we're gonna take the bear skin out during the pickling process, put more acid in, and keep it at the 1.5. It's probably gonna rise to somewhere like a 3 or 4, and then we're gonna have to bring it down, make it more acidic. All right, old Baloo here has been in the solution for about 4 hours. I've been checking on it every hour just to see how it's going, and this is more like a rescue mission on this skin here. It's not in the greatest of shape, but we're doing what we can. All right, I think I'm gonna pull it out of its bath, but I'm gonna bring this outside and rinse it off. It's looking a little worse than I thought. Some of the edges of this are just falling apart. Some of it still feels like it's intact. I don't know. Might be wasting my time here, but I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna stick it in the pickling and see what happens. Some of this seems really tough all in this area. It was over here on the edge that, you know, it just started crumbling over there. But we're gonna give it a shot here. Maybe after it pickles for a few days, I can pull it out and make another assessment. All right, again, we're gonna go head first here. I did try tugging on the hair, and I didn't feel the hair pulling out or anything, you know, but not to say that it won't pull out later down the road or something, but let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. We'll soak him in this and see what we get. All right, it might seem like a couple of seconds, but now it is 3 days later. All right, our bear here has been in the pickle for 3.5 days now, and I'm gonna pick it up, drain it, and attempt to do some shaving on it. We'll see what we got here. And I'm using the hoist that I had to dip that chain in from that video that I did. I think this is pretty good though. I'm just gonna let this drain for like 10-15 minutes. Let all this water and pickle run off, and then I'll move it on over to the table. But let's bring over the old bear skin here and see what we can do. All right, we are in rough shape. Look at this thing. If we get a hat out of this, it will be a miracle. But we're going to give it a shot. We're going to try shaving it down. I just shaved down a small piece that I had. Huh? What do you think? Is this going to work out? It worked for you. All right, here's what we got. We got this. Is a big grizzly bear tongue scraper. Right, I found this in the bear cave, and then we got this knife here for scraping down, see if we can get off some of this thick fleshy parts. I think some of these edges we're just gonna cut right off. Right, I know a lot of people are saying just put this thing in the garbage and forget about it, but we're gonna make something happen here, I think. That could be a bullet hole right there. Kind of looks like it. It's the head is the most important part of this puzzle. This thing looks gross. There's a screw in there. All right, look at this action. I got like an old part of a lamp, but I needed something to kind of lift these areas up so I can work on these. And this actually seems like it might do a pretty good job of that. All right, this is some crazy project. These are the ears right here. Just want to show like a before and after. I think a before and after. And the cartilage around here, so thick around these ears. All right, I just made this little stand, and I feel like this is going to help me on these ears. I got the popcorn bowl underneath here. All right, but I want to put this right here, and I want to see if I can open up this ear. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. See right here? I want to see if I can turn this ear inside out. All right, here's what we're attempting, is to turn this ear inside out. I'm trying to cut down into the ear. All right, just slice this open. I think that's as far as I'm gonna take it. I'm surprised I was even able to turn this ear inside out. Grizzly bears, Pilgrim. I collect the claws. Had one in that thicket back there till you came along. Use that skin pad, Pilgrim, before you lose all your fingers. All right, what I'm doing is I'm just getting off all this kind of dried out, fleshy looking, muscly stuff here off of the skin. And actually, for the most part, I think we're doing all right. I got those ears turned, and that actually worked. And now, just kind of cleaning up this whole skin, and I'm gonna put it back in the pickle after I get all this stuff shaved off. You know, I'm doing this with a scalpel here. You can just imagine doing this with a sharpened piece of obsidian, right? Like some flint knapping, taking some of that obsidian and turning it into a scraper. Go inside, get yourself warm. I got a chore to finish. Well, there we go. That looks a little bit different than when we pulled it out of the pickle. Got the ears turned out. You know, this face, it looked like a steamroller had hit it. Now it's all loose, pliable. I'm going to put it back into the pickle. And I might even pull it out tomorrow and do a little bit more shaving. Probably a few more days in the pickle. All right, give you a nice soak again. And I checked the pH and still holding a nice 1.5 on the pH in the pickle here, so that's good. All right, it's the next morning, about 12 hours later. Let's check the pH here. Oh, looks like we're still right here at a 1.5. Actually, that looks great. So no big drop in the pH. All right, our skin now has been in the pickle for 6 days total. So we had 4 days, shaved it. Now we're another 2 days in the pickle. And I'm gonna pull this out, hang it over our pole here and let it drain. All right, while that's doing a little drip dry, we're gonna create a neutralizing solution. So I got 10 gallons of water here, and for every gallon, I'm gonna put 1 tablespoon of baking soda here. So we got 1. And then bring our neutralizing solution. Lower old Mr. Bear right down. And we're gonna let this sit in the neutralizing bath. All right, it's been about 35 minutes or so. Pull the old bear up, let it drain. We're gonna take it outside and we're gonna rinse the whole thing off, and then I'll bring it back in here to get it drying. All right, here we go, folks. I have some of the Mckenzie Tan. It is time to brush on some of this tanning solution. I let this dry for a couple hours, and it is still a little damp, but it's thirsty too. I let it dry out enough that it will soak up some of this tanning solution. So I got some here in this jar, in our little container. I'm just gonna brush it on the whole deal here. And we'll start right here at the head. All right, after I put that tanning solution on, I left that folded up overnight. And then in the morning I came and I hung it up here on our pole and raised it up here into the rafters. And now it's been up here for over a week, just drying out. I've had the wood stove on in here. This has gotten nice and dry and it feels good. Let's bring it down and take a look. All right, let's take a closer look. I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. I knew these ears were going to be trouble because they weren't turned right away. So we did lose some hair on the ears. But other than that, you know, everything is holding up here pretty good. You know, for what we did here on this rescue mission, I think we're not bad. This fur is actually looking a lot nicer now. It feels good and thick. Now, I know a lot of people take these and they put it right into a sawdust tumbler with some hardwood sawdust, and that will loosen everything up, make it nice and pliable. Let's flip this over and see what it looks like on the underside. We'll give our bear a flip over. All right, not half bad. You can see where this has turned kind of like a nice white color. That is what we're looking for. And this feels soft and pliable now, kind of like a nice leather. All right, I I am feeling good about this whole deal. All right, let's take a closer look here at the underside. And you see this is nice and soft and pliable. It's got that white color. Now you could start stretching this. You could even go over this whole thing with a sander and sand down all this stuff. I'm not really worried about that. All right, folks, what do you think of that? Look at that. Look at that bear face coming at you there. I think this actually worked out perfect. It's a nice rustic look, and I think this is going to shape nicely into a hat. Look at this action. I bought this to help me make the hat, build this around. I actually got like a whole mannequin form that this can go on the top, and we can build our hat around this and build our little Jeremiah Johnson mountain man outfit. And if you look at the hat in the movie, it's kind of old and rustic too. They must have gotten this from some old timer. And that's why I think our bear skin is a good match for what the hat looks like in the movie, because the skin that we have is kind of in rough shape. So I think it's a perfect match. Check this out too. I got a nice Hudson Bay blanket. I'm going to make a trade shirt, like a nice wool coat pullover out of this. That's going to be coming in an upcoming video. And that might even be before we make the rest of the bear head hat. I think I'm going to make that shirt, and then, then we're going to switch gears and we're going to make the hat. But it was nice to bring you guys along on this whole journey of tanning from start to finish. I know this isn't like some prize bearskin, but it fits the bill for what we're doing with this hat here. And if you haven't seen Jeremiah Johnson, I commend it to you. It's a great movie. Nature, cinematography. The movie can be heavy at times, but, it's that old mountain man spirit. Get out there in the hills, and discover yourself and get in touch with nature. So definitely check out that movie. All right. I hope you guys are doing great, and I'll see you all soon. Watch your top knot.